Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I decided to record all of my Aether Raids offense matches from the past season in light season, and then basically just make a video montage of them where I explain how I played my matches, and it's also a really good opportunity to showcase my plus 10 Lucas, who I use as an AR tank in light season. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I use Lucas as my omnitank in light season because I really like him and I think he's a really good unit if invested in properly. So basically the build I'm using on him is aimed and focusing on his speed and resistance stats because his defense and attack are already high enough, as you can see. So I am running Flowing Lance on him to help with buffs on the enemy. It's a really good weapon, and because I do have him supported with a Brave Lucina who I run alongside him, he can still get off the 2 cooldown noontime in 1 turn. So that is really helpful, and he also has no follow-up to help deal with Bramamon, so Bramamon can't actually double him. And in general, the only thing that is really good against this Lucas is a really strong green unit, who thankfully there are not a lot of in late season because Thrasir is in Aster season. Alongside my Lucas, I'm running this Brave Lucina, and for me, as someone who had never pulled a Brave Lucina naturally, it was really worth spending the Forma Soul on her, especially since I was able to get all the skills that I wanted. So I decided to go with Life and Death 4 so that she can have really high offensive stats, so she's actually going to soak Bright Shrine and Chill Attack and Chill Speed, and I gave her even Pulse Tie in her B slot because it is a super premium skill that really helps deal with people like Ophelia who already have their special ready. And since I don't have Pulse Smoke on Lucas, I did think it was important to have a unit with even Pulse Tie to help deal with infantry pulse teams a little bit better. She's also got Joint Drive Speed, which is really helpful to Lucas, and along with the support from her weapon, she's just such an amazing support partner for him to have. My bonus unit this week was Ninja Hana, who is actually going to be my next 5-star plus 10 merge project, so I've already given her the premium fodder which I was going to give her. So she's got Deck Swabber, and I also have Huge Fan Plus on her. I also gave her Distant Counter and Ruptured Sky from a spare Byleth, and Spurn 3 and Joint Drive Attack from a spare male Chris. So she actually did not see a lot of action this season, but I just thought it would be fun to show you guys a taste of my next merge project, who I'll be plus 10ing as soon as she's added to the Grail shop. For my first match of the week, I got lucky and got a pretty easy to beat Aether Raids team, so I'm basically just going to wait until turn 3 when my 40 HP Bolt Tower hits, and then go in with Lucas and bait. So since Eliwood is out of the range of the healing tower, he's not going to get healed after my 40 Bolt Tower hits, so it's going to be pretty easy to take him out after that. And Ophelia isn't really an issue because I have even Pulse Tie on Lucina, and Bramamon isn't really an issue either because I do have null follow-up on Lucas, so Bramamon will not be able to double. I'm gonna start off by first taking out that tactics room because it would have hit both Peony and air, and it's always annoying only having 1 mobility on your flyer ranged units. And then basically I'm just going to wait until turn 3 where my Bolt Tower hits and I can do 40 damage to everyone who's in the range, and then I'm just going to bait with Lucas in the spot to the left of their fortress. And I'm just making sure that Camilla's not going to go rogue. She should prioritize restoring over attacking anyone as long as she has someone who she can restore, because she won't be able to one-shot or kill any of my units, so she's always going to prioritize healing. So now in turn 3, I'm going to get the speed res link buffs from air by smiting Lucas, and I'm going to move him 2 up and put Lucina within 2 spaces of him as well. And then with Hana and Peony, I'm just going to retreat to make sure nothing goes wrong on that side. So Bramamon is going to attack first, and he's really no problem. And then Eliwood is going to suicide into Lucas as well. And then Camilla isn't actually going to attack Lucas because she prioritized healing first. So now I'm in a really, really good position. I just need to take out everyone except for Sylvia, basically, and then I'm going to be able to grab the pots on the right side as well. So yeah, at this point, Camilla's no real threat to actually kill Lucas, so it's fine if I leave Lucas there and to just bait Yoon. So Yoon is going to go ahead and... oh, Camilla attacks first. But yeah, she really has no real chance of killing Lucas, so it's not a big deal. And then I'm going to grab the pots on the other side, and then basically just... Camilla doesn't actually die this turn, but that's also not a big deal, because she will next turn. And yeah, she's going to go heal Sylvia and then attack because she has no one else to heal. And then this turn I will be able to take her out because Miracle is no longer active. And then basically it's just an easy matter of letting Sylvia suicide into Lucas. Against the next team, I decided to use my hit and run team with my +7 OG Claude and my Bride Micaiah, who you can see on the right side of the screen, mainly because there are no dancers and I thought Annette would be kind of a tricky matchup for Lucas. So my strategy was going to be to bait with Hana on the left side against Bramamond because she does have distant counter and she is a bonus unit, so she was easily able to take him on, and then use Claude to clean up the rest of the ranged units. I was initially thinking that I would just be able to do a normal hit and run strategy, but because of the way that the traps were set up, I thought it would be a bit difficult to take the time to test all of them first and then initiate with Claude. So since I had Hana as a bonus unit anyway, and she has distant counter and is really strong, I decided to go with a hybrid approach where I would bait with Hana on the left side for Bramamond because she can take him out, and then wait for the other units to rush out so that Claude can pick them off one by one. So that actually worked really well for me on this map. Otherwise, it would have been a bit annoying to deal with the traps on the right side. So here I decided to test the yellow trap with Claude just to make sure that it was or was not real, and then I basically just went in with Hana and left her there for Bramamond to initiate on. And even though Bramamond doubles her, I believe she actually one-shots him. Oh, she almost one-shotted him, but she was able to take 2 hits anyway, so it was fine. So now all the ranged units are basically rushing out and it's easy for me to pick them off one by one. So here basically I just take out Nino and then wait for the rest of the units to come out as well. On the left side, I decided to let Hana deal with Corrin because although Hana was not able to one-round her, I knew that in the end she would be able to kill Corrin. So now I'm just waiting for the rest of the units to come down on the right side and letting Hana deal with Corrin over there on the left side. So now Claude is easily able to pick off Annette, and unfortunately Sothis and Ophelia are bunched together right now and the traps are right there, so I'm not able to go in and initiate with Claude this turn, but I can make sure that on the other side of the map I'm moving towards getting the pots. So now Ophelia and Sothis are closer together, so at this point I decided to take out Ophelia and then bait Sothis. So at this point, Claude can actually take 1 hit, even with Sirius, from Sothis. So I decided to just leave him there and then go pursue the trap on the other side with Hana. So yeah, in the last turn, it did come down to the very last turn, and Claude did have to take a hit from Sothis, but in the end he was fine, and I was able to just snipe the pot and kill Sothis. This next match was definitely a difficult matchup for the teams that I have available in Light Season, partially because Wrath is really not a good matchup for Lucas, especially not at +10 and with low speed defense. So I still decided to go with Lucas because I don't think my hit and run strategy would work on this map, and my strategy is going to be to bait on the left side so that only Bramamond and Sothis can reach Lucas, and then hope that when the rest of the units are moving out, I'll be able to pick them off one by one. I'm going to start off by clearing out the trap on the left side so that I can get Lucas in there on turn 2. And the reason why I'm going to bait in turn 2 is because then the bolt tower will hit in turn 3 and it should hit the units who have started to move towards Lucas. So now in turn 2, I'm just going to reposition Lucas up there and put Lucina 2 spaces south of him so that he can have her support when dealing with Sothis. It won't help with Bramamond, but at least it will help with Sothis. So I'm just going to leave Lucas there, and he should be fine this turn. He doesn't get hit by any panic towers because he has 72 HP, which is above the threshold for the maxed level of panic tower. And at this point, everyone else is just going to rush out once I've taken care of Sothis and Bramamond. So now you can see that all of the units have taken a lot of damage from my bolt tower, and I had the choice here of taking out Eldigan or Eliwood, but I decided to take out the healing towers so that they wouldn't heal, so that Lucas would be able to one-shot them, because it was a high-level healing tower. So I'm going to put Lucina 2 spaces south of him, and now, unfortunately, I made the mistake of dancing Lucina so that to give Lucas buffs. I thought it would be a good idea to make Lucas a little bit stronger, but unfortunately, he's actually now in the range of the panic tower, so he's going to get panicked, so those buffs are actually going to be really bad for him. And you guys are going to see what happens, but if I hadn't given him those buffs, I haven't actually done the calculations, but I'm convinced that he would have survived this. So, yeah, spoiler alert, I lost this match. You'll see. Basically, Wrath does a hell of a lot of damage, so Lucas doesn't really stand a chance there. And then Eliwood is going to do a surprising amount of damage too, partially because he got panicked, and now Corrin is going to take him out. But if you calculate the numbers, I'm pretty sure I would have survived here, unfortunately, if I hadn't given Lucas those buffs. In my next match, I had the misfortune of running into the world's only +10 Abel. Credits to my friend Levinsetti for making that joke when I showed him her build. Basically, these units are just like, they look like Hall of Forms builds, like in the good sense. They just all have premium skills slapped on them, and I think that even with my +7 OG Claude, I don't think I would have been able to make a dent on any of the flyers, and I definitely wouldn't have been able to kill Abel with her 67 defense. So I decided to go with Lucas on this map because although he probably can't do much damage to them, they shouldn't be doing that much damage to him either because he also has really high defense. So basically my strategy would be to hopefully take out Abel first because she's the easiest matchup for Lucas because she's red, and then try and use Hana to take out Cormag and hopefully Har as well. It actually didn't really matter what turn I go in on this map because their catapult snipes my bolt tower, unfortunately, so I decided to go in as quickly as possible because I knew that there was a decent chance that I would time out just being unable to kill all these crazy units. So I went in on turn 1, I was baiting with Lucas and then with Hana, and unfortunately I did not realize that Lucas would literally do 0 damage against Abel. That was a pretty big shock. I was expecting to at least do some damage, but I guess that 67 defense is just too strong. And then obviously he can't really do much against Dimitri either, and unfortunately Hana did like 0 damage to Cormag as well, even though she has color advantage. So really I was just not having a fun time right now. So I was able to get some debuffs off from air, and now Hana was actually doing some damage, but still, like it wasn't looking good at this point. And basically, I kind of knew I had lost at this point, but I just tried anyway. So I was just waiting it out and seeing how much damage Lucas could do to Dimitri. Which, once again, it's not good. Like, he barely does any damage, and Dimitri does more damage back to him. And I was able to take down Cormag, but he was actually the only one who I ultimately was able to take out, unfortunately. So, yeah, like, as you can see, there was not much I could have done against this team. I unfortunately don't really have any mages in light season. I do have a Bride Micaiah who, thinking back, might have actually helped a lot on this team because I would have been able to get some true damage off. But hindsight is 20/20, and yeah, really I should have tried the team with my Bridal Micaiah because nobody here was able to dent any of these units. So yeah, unfortunately for me, it just did not end well. And this continues for a little bit more until I realize that I really have no hope. So at this point, I've already lost.
Not a problem. Maybe this way. I'm in. Ready. Where to next? Not a problem. Your orders.
Understood. Leave it to me. Understood.
This match is one where Bride Micaiah came in super handy because none of these armors had armor march, it was just ward armor, so I wouldn't have to worry about any of them rushing at me really quickly, so I was just able to take them out one by one with Micaiah, and basically that was my strategy. First, I would bait Bramwand with Lucas so that I can get him out of the way, and then the rest of the armors I'd be able to pick off one by one. So I decided to go in with Lucas in turn 1 to bait Bramwand since there is no armor march, so none of these units are going to be able to move 2 spaces. So basically it would be easy for Lucas to just bait Bramwand and then pick off the rest of the units one by one. So Lucas obviously does really well against Bramwand because he has no follow-up, and then the rest of the units shouldn't be too much of a problem. Although Micaiah isn't able to one-shot a lot of them, I can just wait until they move into a better position where I can pick them off one by either dancing my unit and hitting them twice or having 2 of my units hit them. So that's basically what I did for the rest of the video.
way. Let's go together. I'm in. Death's caress. Yes.
Understood.
The glimmer of life.
Understood. Certainly. Leave it to me.
Death's caress.
Understood. A little nervous here.
Ready. The glimmer of life.
Certainly.
Where to next? Not a problem. Let's go together.
A little nervous here. Certainly.
Good morning. Ready. Yes. Maybe this way. Ready. Death's caress.
A little nervous here.
Let's go together.
Certainly. Leave it to me.
The glimmer of life.
Understood.
Good morning.
A little nervous here.
For my last match of the season, I had already used up all 5 of my escape ladders, making dumb mistakes in some matches, so I didn't have any ladders left, but I was also too lazy to play 2 individual matches just to play it safe, so I decided to pull a pro gamer move and play a double match anyway, even without the safety net of the ladders, which could have ended disastrously if I lost, because then I essentially would have lost 2 matches worth of lift. But I did win. It was a pretty simple match to beat, so that was nice. I still managed to make tier 27 despite the fact that I had minus 110 on defense. So I am planning on switching up my defense team. I'm probably going to build a cav line, but anyway, that's a story for another day. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments how your week went in Aether Raids last week, and please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great day.